A warm welcome to Business Daily right here on Trust Television. I am Yusuf Akogu. Let's take the business top stories. Glad to have you back. Now we go to the stock market to give you a highlight of the stock trading as it went down on Thursday. Of course, what we saw is cautious trading as the market closed in the negative territory, 0.49%, while investors are indeed dumping equities for cash. Of course, there is a celebration period, and of course, everybody is actually looking for money. 436.557 million volume of shares, value at 7.548 billion naira in the days of 7,096 exchange hands among investors on Thursday. We'll look at the top gaining equities quickly. Look at Multiverse, gained 9.91% there to close at 8 naira 54 kobo. Mansard is also there, 9.76% there to close at 4 naira 50 kobo. Of course, SOA Motors also 9.76% gain it recorded to close at 1 naira and 35 kobo. Quickly, we look at the top losing equities. FBN, First Bank of Nigeria Holding, it recorded again yesterday. Today, the profit taking has affected that equities. That's why it lost there 9.86% to close at 26 naira and 50 kobo per share. Of course, NSL Tech also down 9.64% to close at 75 kobo. Deep Cap 9.46% negative to close at 67 kobo per share. Look at the activities table quickly. Universal Insurance Company dominating the activities there. 52.7 million volume of shares were traded, while Veritas Capital Assurance also recorded 44.6 million volume of shares in terms of trading, while Nigerian Breweries 37.5 million shares for the first time in a long while. We've not seen banking sector playing here. Look at the sectors. The banking sector is down yesterday. It was a very huge gain, but like I said earlier, the profit takers are actually back in the market. 2.01% down the banking sector. Industrial sector 0.01% negative. Consumer good index is down as well. Up, I beg your pardon, 0.03%. And of course, the oil and gas sector has remained flat, dormant. Nothing is really happening in that sector, apparently, because of the uncertainty surrounding that sector. The insurance sector, the biggest gainer, 1.83% it recorded on Thursday. The rest of Africa still not looking good. In South Africa, 0.6% negative. In Ghana, is also down 0.5%. Of course, the only gainer for today, Kenya, Nairobi Stock Exchange in Kenya, 0.11% gain it recorded. Let's quickly talk to a stockbroker, Steve Mwachuku, who joins me virtually from Abuja. Good morning, Mr. Steve.
Good morning, and thanks for having me once again.
It's always a pleasure. Let's quickly get your reaction to this trading that we have on the in the market yesterday. We see like cautious trading is actually returning to the market at this time. What do you think?
Yesterday trading was expected in the sense that we've had a runoff, a bullish run on Tuesday, Wednesday. So Thursday was like investors taking a risk stock and having to review the performance of the market. We could say that there was an early Santa setting it, and we also expected the Santa to be there. The banking stock being the one that led the market on during the week. We also saw some shades from the likes of First Bank, Access Bank, UBA, Zenith, GT. We also expected that such will happen, given the fact that we have a couple of news around the market that either will push the market up expectedly. The issues around the recapitalization of the banking stocks, some of them may either go into a merger or go into acquisition, liquidation, or will also come to the market for IPOs, or they can also do what they call right issue, so they can raise such money to get recapitalization to 150 billion as demanded or requested by Central Bank of Nigeria. So a couple of issues or a couple of stories around the market that will possibly push the market in the upward trend in the coming days. So we expected such market activities in the market.
All right. Let's look at a lot of companies are actually leaving Nigeria for the past 3 months or thereabout. We've seen GSK leaving, Sonafi, and of course now we're having P&G is also saying that they've shown our operation. Actually, they are also planning to exit Nigeria. Is it part of the reason why we are actually having all of this? Is Nigeria business environment not conducive enough?
Somehow it may look like it's what it points to. People cannot live an environment they are making so much profit. The businesses and those who own those businesses will not decide to exit markets where there are potentials, there are opportunities to make more money. It's possibly that the investing environment in Nigeria is becoming riskier. It's becoming more expensive to do business in Nigeria. So perhaps they think that let's reduce our investments in these shores of Nigeria and look elsewhere. And I'm very sure that a couple of other institutions will either take their place, or they will move into what they call the merchandise, replacing it with distributorship, or giving some people some merchants to sell most of their brand product. But to the market, it may not be that good for the market because we've lost a couple of billions. Their capitalizations in the market contribute to the overall market capitalization that we have now around 39 trillion naira. So we still need more listing. We still need more companies to remain in the shores of Nigeria, so that, the size of capitalization tells the fundamentals of stocks, and it also tells the liquidity of the market. So we continue to look for more listing than delisting. Yes, some are voluntary, some are involuntary, some are as a result of business environment and other issues around their operation. So, like I said, it points to the fact that the business environment of Nigeria is becoming hostile. The issues around forex scarcity, the instability in our exchange market, and even in the insecurities are contributory factor. Even at that, we still have a couple other investments that is flowing into the shores of Nigeria. Some are even expanding their business line. So what is good for one may also not be good for the other. So it's a question of your decisions of those such boards or the owners or promoters of such business to take such decisions.
All right, Mr. Steve, in 30 seconds before I let you go, which direction do you think markets will face today? It was red, green yesterday. Wednesday, we are seeing red yesterday. Which direction do you think markets will face today?
Well, it's still within the conscious trading. A couple of investors are also taking profit, considering the fact in the last 1, 2, 3 weeks, we have seen some trends, upward trend in some stocks. Like I said, there seems like there is an early Santa visitation in the market. So we still expect the Santa to remain in the corridor of the market. But today, definitely Fridays are always a conscious trading. If the market will gain with a marginal 0.2 or 0.5 increase, but if it loses the same margin of 0.5 decline. So it's a conscious trading, but we still, like I said, expect Santa to remain the corridor of the market, having the known the facts being that the market has gained within year to date around 39%. So we expect the market at least to touch 41 to 45% before the close of the year. So we expect Santa to still remain within the corridor of market. But it's all about conscious trading these days, because a couple of institutions will be closing their books. And when they are closing their books, they are taking decisions. Some are offloading, some are, there are some level of conscious trading in the market. So every investor needs to be conscious of stocks you buy. But if the fundamentals are there, the fundamentals of these stocks are there, and it will continue to push the market up.
All right, stockbroker and of course economist Steve Nwachukwu, thank you for your time on Business Daily today.
Thanks for having me once again.
All right, so we'll take a very quick break now. When we come back, we'll look at the amount that has been budgeted for pension spending in the year 2024. Don't go away. Glad to have you back. It's still Business Daily right here on Trust Television, and we're still looking at issues around the budget. But this time around, we're looking at the amount that has been voted so far, for 2024 for pension spending, amount for retirees. And it appears that there's a shortfall compared to what we had in 2023. In 2023, about 854.81 billion naira was budgeted for pensioners, retirees, and of course gratuities. But as in the proposed 2024 budget, what we have is 673.01 billion naira. That is a shortfall of about 21.3%. That decline. So why do we have this decline at this time? I have joining me in the studio a pension administrator, Mr. Sani Mustapha. Glad to have you.
Thank you very much.
On Business Day. Let's quickly look at it now. In 2024 budget, we see a drop in the allocation to pension, gratuity, and of course, retirees benefits. A very sharp decline, you will say 21.3%. Why are we having a decline when people should be expecting government to increase all of this, especially when we are seeing budgetary allocation to other sectors being increased?
Well, actually, a budget is an estimation of income and expenditure for a certain period of time. And I look at that figure. It's mostly gratuities and accrued right. The gratuities are to do with pensioners under the defined benefit. And the accrued right is for pensioners that are retiring under the contributory pension.
All right.
Now, gratuity and that accrued right is for a set number of people. And every year, this number of people are reducing. For example, the people waiting for this gratuity and accrued right in 2023 are more than the people in 2024, because you would have paid some people. For example, if you have 100 pensioners waiting, if you pay 20, then you are carrying forward 80 in number.
But more are retiring as well.
More are retiring, but the issue is they are not going to be comparable to the figures of before, especially the defined benefit. That's the gratuity. Under the defined benefit, you know, we have closed that pension scheme. The people under the defined benefit are not increasing. It's only the people probably under the contributory pension. So the sum of money allocated for this kind of budget line should be reducing.
Okay, so what you're saying now
Yes.
is that now we're having a 21% decline,
Yes.
from over 800 million to now 600
To 600 million. They must
so
have
we
looked
expect
at
a
the
decrease
number.
again in 2025.
20, yes. Because once you are paying the gratuity, gratuity is a one-off payment. It's not like monthly pension.
Yeah.
You understand? The amount of money allocated for monthly pension actually is set to increase in 2024, because there is the normal constitutional increase of 5% after some years, which the Constitution guarantees pensioners in Nigeria. And then I believe that the federal government is also envisaging, because of the current problems that we have in the economy, is envisaging increasing the national minimum wage. And you know, it's a done deal that once you increase salary, you also increase pension.
Pension is a contribution.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is in the Constitution.
All right.
So it is not something that people should worry about. And the government is very much ready. If there is any issue, we have a contingency funds under the service-wide, which they can bring to give.
Okay, so what you are trying to let us know and the general public know is that this budget was prepared in consultation with pension administrators.
Oh, definitely. It is actually with the National Pension Commission. Pension administrators do not depend on any budget, but National Pension Commission works with government.
They are the representative of the administrators.
Yes, yes. yes
okay.
yes.
Now let's look at according to National Pension Commission that you talk about.
Yes.
The last time the federal government paid its employees accrued pension right was in March 2022.
Yes.
That is 14.92 billion was paid.
Yes.
All right. But since that time till now, a lot of pensioners have been stranded.
Now, you see, look at this accrued right. As we said, it is not also increasing. Accrued right, once you pay people, for example, I know that over the years, like 10 years, there were some difficulties in payment of this accrued right.
All right.
It's supposed to be paid from day one. You understand? Any pension scheme migrating to another scheme, supposed to start another scheme with the pensioners getting all their pension rights put into their retirement savings account. But probably issues of finance have made it that it is only those that retire, then they now pay. But federal government, like 5 years, 8 years, they have been making effort to pay. And you see, once they pay, you cannot come back and ask for it. So as I told you, this thing, as you are reducing it, one day we'll wake up that all pensioners, their accrued right have been paid. And then as they are retiring, they get their pension fund.
We hope we get to that point where there will be no complaint.
Yes.
PENCOM has also, in fairness to the federal government, they've said that government has done so well,
Yes.
but they still say that more needs to be done.
Yes.
In which areas do you think government needs to do more?
Is to really allocate money and pay off this accrued right, such that people, once they retire, they just access their pension funds. But right now what you have like a gap of 3 months, 4 months before the accrued right is paid. And it is a PENCOM regulation that it is only when all your money is inside your retirement savings account that you can now access and get funding. You understand? Because they want you to start getting your money as has been calculated. But I think government is trying. We pray.
Now, apart from government, other private sector as well. I think the private sector have been really been doing so well.
Yes.
In terms of paying all of these accrued rights.
Yes.
So there is so much effort on a side of government to see what they can do.
Yes.
As we move on now, let's look at this thing. I thought I should bring this up. Recently, we saw some pensioners and retirees in Jigawa State complaining to an international media in Hausa. They actually spoke that they have not been paid their entitlement for 8 months. Even though we know that Jigawa State has also keyed into CPS.
Yeah. Well, I really checked that because I heard of it too. And you see, Jigawa is a very beautiful state as far as pension is concerned. They started their contributory pension before the federal government. So what usually happens, those particular retirees, what I find out, they are under the old scheme. You see, when you want to start a new scheme, for example, in India, when they wanted to start this contributory pension, they now said all the old pensioners will not enter this new scheme.
Okay.
So they started it 1st January 2004. And they said everybody in the old scheme should stay in the old scheme. Okay. So issue of accrued right, issue of doesn't come in. That only new entrants to the civil service will now go into this new scheme. And right now they are about 19 years into the new scheme.
The new scheme, that is talking about India.
Yes. In Nigeria, when Jigawa started their own, they said people that are 5 years to retire should not enter the new scheme. They will still be paid from budgetary allocations. They have their own board, pension board, which they now get to the government and said, these people are retiring, please give us money to pay them. Those are the people that are really crying that they have not been paid.
So what is the difference between the old scheme and the new scheme?
The old scheme, it is purely based on budgetary allocation. It is when the government decides to say, okay, we are going to pay you so millions to pay your pensioners. But you see, as I said, budget is an estimation of income and expenditure. Sometimes the income may not come enough. You will have a flood, you will have a crisis of health. They will take that money and do an emergency. They will not look at the pensioners. But the new scheme, from day one, your money is in your pension account. In the case of Jigawa, it is a bit of both. They now said the remittances from the workers will be used to pay pensioners. So every time they have money, those people, they are so wise, they took their money and gave it to PFA to manage for them. So pensioners in Jigawa, under the new contributory pension, they don't cry. Wherever you can check online, you will never hear them cry. Because once you key in your retirement papers, next month, 2 months, you get your gratuity and you start your pension. So those people that are crying are those people that are in the old scheme, who are waiting for government to budget money and then release the money. They are two different things.
Those in the old scheme are at the mercy of the state government.
That is it.
In this regard.
Yes.
Now, what is responsible for the delay now by the state government? But I'm sure the state government is deducting their money from the source.
Well, these particular pensioners, they are the ones that will not migrate to the new scheme. So there was no deduction. They don't contribute. So, yes, it's the old scheme where you just do your 35 years in service, then government will wake up
all
from
your
sleep.
Full salaries when you're working.
Yes.
By the time you retire, government on their own have to pay you something.
Yes.
Wow.
But you see, pensioners will wait. Ministry of Health will wait. Ministry of Defense will wait. Everybody will wait, waiting for the same fund from government.
Perhaps
while in the new scheme, there is money ready for the pensioner.
Perhaps that is where we're having issues, especially with some people that are still complaining of not being paid their pension.
Mostly in the state. But in federal government, we should be fair to know that federal government do not have issues with pension as before. They have tried both in the defined benefit and the contributory pension to reduce the hardship of the pensioners. Money is there for them.
All right. Now, in this case, let's talk to the Jigawa State government in this regard.
Yes.
With the concern that these pensioners have raised.
Yes.
What do you think government should do at this point? Because these are people who have served the state for 35 years or less.
Yes.
For some, but for them not to, get their money, that they won't have to go as far as speaking to foreign media about it. I think it's not a very good image for the state government.
It is certainly not. And if I can advise, because the governor has a background in finance, his commissioner of finance too is a guru in finance. I will advise them to set up a fund under the contributory pension, and then take that fund and be kept with the PFA so that it too can be saved and then invested, so that these people, they are not many, they can be getting their pension as at when due. I believe that is the best way.
All right. I'm sure the Jigawa State government will take your advice and, of course, see how they can actually implement that. I must thank you for your time. Sani Mustapha, the pension administrator, and, of course, director of corporate services at PITAD.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yusuf.
We appreciate it. And that's quite incisive and educative contributions there. With that is a wrap on the show for the week. We'll be back on Monday. I am Yusuf Akugu.